April 14th, 2026, and this is the City of Prescott City Council voting meeting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Rusing?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Fruworth?
Here.
Councilwoman Fredrickson?
Here.
Councilman Gambogi?
I am here.
Councilman Gehring?
I'm here.
Councilman Grady?
Here.
And Councilman Ribby?
Here.
All are present.
Thank you. We'll now have introductions and announcements by Mayor Pro Tem Lois Fruworth.
Very good. Good afternoon, everyone. We have a lot of upcoming events and activities happening in Prescott. Did you know that April is Water Awareness Month? While water conservation is important year-round, April is a great time to either get started or to further deepen your efforts. Visit prescottwater.com to learn more about how you can help conserve water. And on Saturday, April 25th, visit the City of Prescott Water Smart Tent at the Highlands Center for Natural History to personally explore city water conservation resources. The city is hosting a community meeting on April 15th from 4:30 to 6:30 at Strickland Park to gather input on a stormwater project focused on improvements across Sherwood Drive, Butte Creek, and nearby park areas. City staff will be available to share information, answer questions, and collect feedback. And refreshments and displays will be available for you. Prescott Earth Day and Wildfire Expo is happening this Saturday, April 15th from 9 to 2 on Cortez Street at the Courthouse Plaza. Be sure to stop by to connect with many local agencies, businesses, and many participating organizations, all to help protect and celebrate Prescott and our planet. Next week, April 19th to the 25th, is National Library Week. The Prescott Public Library truly offers something for everyone, and we invite you to join the celebration. Visit prescottlibrary.info to explore all the events planned throughout next week. We had originally scheduled a Rodeo Fairgrounds Master Plan meeting for next Monday, the 20th, and it has been postponed with more to come later. On Tuesday, April 21st, the City of Prescott Recreation Services Department will host a public workshop for the Parks and Rec Master Plan project at the Rollie P. Simmons Center on Rosser. Residents are welcome to drop in anytime between 6 and 7:30 to visit interactive stations, speak with project team members, and provide your input on parks, facilities, trails, programs, communication, and their long-term priorities. Finally, in the event space, the Whiskey Off-Road returns the weekend of April 24th to Prescott. Residents are encouraged to watch for updates regarding road closures and traffic impacts associated with the event. Now, for one great piece of national news for Prescott, I also want to take a brief moment to publicly celebrate that our own city attorney, Mr. Joseph Young, has been selected as one of only 250 public servants from across the country to receive recognition as being a public service champion by the National Academy of Public Administration. This national honor highlights 250 individuals who have made exceptional contributions to their community and demonstrated a strong commitment to public service. As part of the recognition, he will be honored at a reception in Philadelphia in May, but I'd ask you all to join me to take a moment for a round of applause from the citizens and staff that he serves. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. Please stand for the invocation by Pastor Levi Minder with the Alliance Bible Church, and then stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Ruby.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, first and foremost for our elected officials and all those who serve this beautiful city of Prescott, Arizona. Lord, we ask for wisdom in their decisions today. We ask for charitable conversation. And Lord, I just thank you for this. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Next item.
We'll move on to proclamations, and our first proclamation will be presented by Councilman Grady. It's for Earth Week 2026, April 16th through the 22nd.
Good afternoon, everyone. Really honored and excited to be up here in recognition of Earth Day and Earth Week. Personally, I've been engaged with Earth Day and in the last several years, Earth Week, since we moved here in 2017. So it's something that very passionate about. It's so important in this day and beyond to recognize the stewardship responsibilities that we have for our community and for this planet. And the event of Earth Day itself that happens this Saturday on Cortez Street is an opportunity to share your thoughts, but also learn a lot from the activities and events that are going on. Before I read the proclamation, I'm going to ask some community members to come up that have been actively engaged in this work. We have representatives from the Interfaith Climate Action Team, from the Northern Arizona Climate Change Alliance, as well as from the Greater Prescott Outdoor Fund. So this mayor's proclamation is for Earth Week, April 18th to the 22nd, and I think beyond. Whereas the annual celebration of Earth Day and Earth Week 2026 will be celebrated around the theme of partnerships. And whereas our community continues to confront environmental challenges that require us to recognize our role in the protection and restoration of the earth. And whereas Earth Day and Earth Week are annual reminders of the constant need for outdoor and environmental learning, stewardship and local engagement, and partnerships in sustainable community action. And whereas residents are encouraged to use Earth Day and Earth Week to celebrate our special place on this common home we call planet Earth, by participating in the many educational events throughout the week, including the official Earth Day celebration on Cortez Street, connecting with the land through environmental projects, exploring and observing the beauty of Prescott and its natural features, and even sharing photos of Prescott's natural wonders or your environmental activities on social media with your family and friends. Now, therefore, Kathy Rusing, Mayor of the City of Prescott, does hereby proclaim April 18 to 22, 2026 as Earth Week 2026. And we encourage all members of the community to learn, to share, and celebrate the protection and restoration of the earth and our local environment. So I'd like to present the certificate first to Rod Moyer of the Greater Prescott Outdoor Fund and Amanda Voss, who are very active specifically in Saturday's event, which takes weeks and weeks of planning. And this is something that Rod and the board president, Gary Warrup, who couldn't be here today, have been doing for several years. And their commitment and steadfast work on this has been really wonderful over these many years. Did you want to say a few words, or Amanda?
Thank you, Patrick. For many years now, we've had the Prescott Annual Earth Day celebration. For many years, it was on the square, and it was organized by the Open Space Alliance. In 2017, the Greater Prescott Outdoors Fund took over, and we moved it to Cortez Street because the plaza was getting a little too expensive to rent. And it's worked out very well for us. It's been very highly attended by not only our citizens, but our visitors as well. And the city and the Cortez Street merchants have been very cooperative with us and helpful. We We'll have 43 booths this year, and the largest of them all will be the children's area, which Amanda will talk about. Lots of educational activities for the kids where the parents can safely park them while they browse the rest of the event. And we hope we'll see you all there. Thank you.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Amanda Voss with Yavapai Exploration and Science in partnership with the Greater Prescott Outdoor Fund. And we are running the kids area. And we are really excited to be bringing ammonite fishing, some ambiotic versus symbiotic education through science, and then also some other gross motor and fine motor skills for kids to learn about through Earth Day. So thank you guys so much. Over there. I see what you're doing.
Now we're going to have the whole group.
Perfect. I can see everybody's face. We'll take these ones too. Perfect. Thank you all.
All right, and next we'll have the proclamation
one
for
more,
Stand
just
With Me,
one
Be
of the-
Drug-Free, presented by Mayor Rusing.
So we have one more speaker who's going to speak more. That's okay. Who's going to speak to Earth Week and some of the activities during Earth Week. Annie?
Hello, Mayor, Council members, and general public. I'm Annie Sawyer with Northern Arizona Climate Change Alliance, here with my colleagues Sharon Kelly, our community organizer, and Shar Hoffman, who is head of the Interfaith Climate Action Team. I'm here to give you a quick sense of the events surrounding the Earth Day 2026. I'm calling it a stretchy Earth Week because the activities will span nearly 2 weeks. These free events have been planned by a notable variety of volunteer, civic, and spiritual organizations. Now, I gave Sarah some to pass out, but I didn't bring copies for everyone in the room, so you'll have to go to our website, nazca.org, nazcca.org, where you'll find the events list on our homepage. And, or you can stop by our booth and get the events list on Saturday. But the first event is actually, well, not counting today, is starting on Friday. So, well, let me just continue with the sense of what all is coming up. Some of these events will be entertaining, some educational, many participatory, to be held in outdoor settings, classrooms, auditoriums, and galleries. There'll be both daytime and evening events. So there will be some opportunity to offer support to these organizations through donations, but like I said, they're all free. Or by volunteering, like, for example, at the Granite Peak Cleanup. That's also on Saturday. There will be art, food, music, raffles, and general fun for all ages. I wanted to say also that on the National Earth Day, which is always the 22nd and doesn't, conveniently fall on a Saturday, we are having the traditional rally on the square. So that will be at 5 o'clock on the 22nd. Now, I wanted to say that the large number of these Prescott Earth Day celebrations is a good indicator that our town has a high interest in understanding, preserving, and enjoying our environment.
Okay, now we will have Stand With Me, Be Drug Free Week, April 20th through the 24th, presented by Mayor Rusing.
Please join me up here at the speaker's podium. Anybody here? Thank you. Whereas Matt Force has proclaimed April 20th through the 24th, 2026 to be Stand With Me, Be Drug Free Week. Whereas the City of Prescott embraces a vision of a healthy, vibrant, and strong community for children, youth, families, and peoples of all ages, and celebrates the fact that a majority of people do not abuse drugs and alcohol. Whereas the City of Prescott recognizes that youth prevention is essential based on the fact that 9 out of 10 people who struggle with substance abuse, use disorders, begin using substances as teenagers. Whereas knowing that families are adversely affected by illegal drug use, including work problems, legal problems, mental health problems, physical illness, overdoses, addiction, accidents, accidental death, economic loss, child abuse, destruction of families, driving while impaired, and crimes against persons and properties. Therefore, the City of Prescott would like to commend and pay tribute to all of its citizens who choose to be free of illegal drug use. Now, I, Kathy Rusing, Mayor of the City of Prescott, do hereby proclaim April 20th to the 24th, 2026 as Stand With Me, Be Drug Free Week. I encourage citizens to participate in the celebration of a drug-free, healthy community by participating in the planned events, activities, and displays. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. My name is Kimberly Gregory. I work for Matt Force. I'm an community engagement and education specialist. So real quick, Matt Force, we just celebrated our 20-year anniversary in the fall. As Mayor said, we do focus on drug prevention education. We're in a majority of schools throughout Yavapai County, not just drug prevention education, but also things like self-esteem, resiliency, so on and so forth. Something that's super exciting for me is Matt Force also, we are in Yavapai County Jail in our Camp Verde location, where we provide informed trauma care to the inmates there. Our hope is that they can understand a little bit more about themselves and in that traumatic cycle to, again, further help our children in our community. We also teach parenting classes in the jail. We also have free parenting classes in our community. There's many resources that we have available. You guys are welcome to check out mattforce.org. Through strong partnerships with schools, law enforcement, municipal governments, and community stakeholders, we continue to make a meaningful impact, and we respectfully thank you and ask you to recognize Stand With Me, Be Drug Free Week, April 20th through the 25th, in honor of the health and the future of our children and our community. So thank you. Thank you. You're super lovely. Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And our next proclamation is National Library Week, April 19th through the 25th, and that will be presented by Councilwoman Frederickson.
Good afternoon. Is Melissa with us? Melissa Orr? Come on up. Oh, great. Yay. I was very happy when I was told that I would be providing or presenting this proclamation. I don't know how many times in my marriage my husband has mentioned to me how much the Carnegie Library that was established in Olympia, Washington, where he grew up, how big of a factor that was in his growing up years. Between that and the Sea Cadets and the YMCA swim team, the Carnegie Library opened his world to the wider world. Olympia, Washington, despite being the state capital, was a small, fairly rural community, but it allowed him to get out of his community, and that was something that the library does so exceedingly well. So I'm happy to present the mayoral proclamation today. Whereas libraries spark creativity, fuel imagination, and inspire lifelong learning, offering a space where individuals of all ages can explore new ideas and be drawn to new possibilities. And whereas libraries serve as vibrant community hubs connecting people with knowledge, technology, and resources while fostering civic engagement, critical thinking, and lifelong learning. And whereas libraries provide free and equitable access to books, digital tools, innovative programming, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, have the support they need to learn, connect, and thrive. And whereas libraries partner with schools, businesses, and organizations, connecting the dots to maximize resources, increase efficiency, and expand access to essential services, strengthening the entire community. And whereas libraries empower job seekers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners by providing access to resources, training, and opportunities that support career growth and economic success. And whereas libraries nurture young minds through story time, STEAM programs, and literacy initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning that lasts a lifetime. And whereas libraries protect the right to read, think, and explore without censorship, standing as champions of intellectual freedom and free expression. And whereas dedicated librarians and library workers provide welcoming spaces that inspire discovery, collaboration, and creativity for all. Now, therefore, Kathy Rusing, Mayor of the City of Prescott, does hereby proclaim April 19 through 25, 2026 as National Library Week. We encourage all residents to visit their library, explore its resources, and celebrate all the ways you can find your joy at the library. And Melissa, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you brought your team. I'd like to present this proclamation saying how much the City of Prescott appreciates its libraries. Share a word with what the library's up to.
Okay. All right, I'm short. All right, hi, I'm Melissa Orr. I'm your library director here in Prescott, and we would like for you to help us kick off National Library Week with our amazing staff. I have Paula and Amber from our library and our amazing friends. We have Barb Collins and Mike Gully, who will begin celebrating at the Earth Day event this coming up Saturday. So we'll be there with lots of fun activities. We'll be there with seed packets. We have a seed library at our location, and we're bringing seed bookmarks and activities for all ages to enjoy. Next week, we're going to have a mouse from If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. How many of us know about that book? Mouse will be in the house at the library next week, showing up at all of our programs Tuesday through Thursday, and then it'll culminate on Saturday. We'll be at the farmers market. Mouse will be there again with us. He'll be giving out free books to the kids. We'll be giving out crafts for adults and signing you up for library cards, because you know you've got to have one if you don't. And we're also doing things like a bingo reading activity for the kids all throughout the month. And we're still working on a bunch of America 250 activities that you can learn about this month. So please come and join us at all of our events and every day at the library, because we're open 7 days a week. Thank you.
Wait for a picture. Come. Come on. Don't leave me hanging over here by myself.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
right, and as Councilwoman Frederickson makes her way back up to the dais, I am going to move us on to our next item, which is the open call to the public. The City of Prescott welcomes public engagement. Residents may comment and address the council regarding matters that are not included on the posted agenda during the call to the public. If you wish to speak, please complete a green speaker card and submit it to me prior to the meeting being convened. As a reminder, speakers are limited to 4 minutes, and the call to the public will be limited to 40 minutes in total, with the following stipulations. Citizens will be limited to addressing the council on the same topic only 4 times in total. If a topic has been addressed more than 5 times by different speakers, the mayor may limit future discussion on this topic. Topics of a primarily national concern may be limited at the discretion of the mayor, and the call to the public shall not be used to address the council on current or pending legal matters by a party or their representative. I do have 10 open call cards today, so I would like to request that everybody make sure that you stick to your 4-minute limit so that we do not exceed our 40-minute total. And in accordance with our stipulations, after today, we will have reached the 5 times limit for the rodeo. So following today's open call to the public, no further public comment cards will be taken on the rodeo unless it is on the posted agenda. Our first speaker is Gary Stewart.
Testing. Thank you. It's nice to see everyone I voted for in office now. Now I want to let you know the residents of Prescott are very smart and we do our due diligence. So as you've probably heard through the grapevine, a lot of us are unhappy with the flock camera system. But I've been in touch with Senator Mark Fincham, and as I noticed more AI facial recognition condor bulbs going up all over major intersections with 3 around the courthouse, it's of great concern. He said, why hasn't the city council invited the public to discuss this development with the flock safety system? I said, they don't care. And we really feel that you do not care. So one thing, I was here on February 28th for the flock commercial with our chief of police and the salesman from Atlanta, and they failed to mention a lot of things. Do you know that our tax dollars are funding 13 private equity corporations with our tax dollars buying all their equipment? If you cannot tell me that they don't see tickets as doubling their revenue. So I printed out for City Council to show the due diligence of the 13 with all the names, the dates, and everything, all connected to the flock system in Atlanta. By the way, one of the CEOs in Atlanta had hacked a girls' gymnasium. This is one of the leaders of the Flock Corporation, an underage girls' gymnasium combined with the flock system. And he's under investigation for sexual crimes of criminal activity of minors. Oh, flock is not ever going to be corrupted or misused. Well, it already has by one of the CEOs in Atlanta, which is tragic. So I have all this evidence here. If you'd like to educate yourself on the names of the 13 private equity firms that I'm sure want to make their investment grow by tickets. So the other thing is, we mentioned Earth Week. So it looks like what our police chief failed to mention is that all the flock cameras go globally to train AI before the police department gets the footage. So the AI facial recognition will go to Flock globally to train AI, which is connected to Palantir, by the way, who just got the keys to the CIA for all the information just 2 weeks ago. So it's not what you think it is, and I don't particularly feel free or safe knowing that all my movements are being recorded. Now there's facial recognition for all pedestrians in America's hometown, so to speak, and those children who are going to be celebrating Earth Day are going to be in the global flock system with their facial recognition around the courthouse. We tracked 3 cameras so far. They're above the flock array. So you have a flock array like this with a solar array, camera pointed down to automated license plate reader. Above it now is a ball, I believe it's called Condor, is an AI ball over all the intersections, looking at everyone walking through every intersection, or facial recognition downtown at the courthouse, recording everyone's movements, tourists, everyone. So I personally think that's an invasion of privacy I'm not too happy with. And you made the public think that it was infallible, when in fact it's very fallible and has been hacked and abused, even by people within the corporate structure. So I think you should think twice about some of the integrity issues around the flock safety system, and that AI facial recognition goes into the database forever. So our police chief over here before said it's all erased after 3 weeks, unless you're a criminal. Well, it's already on the global system, training AI globally. And that's international, that's not just local. So thank you. I'd love to hand this to educate the City Council on the corporations.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And can I give these to
Earl Duquet.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. My name is Earl Duquet, 530 Fairgrounds. And I serve on the Rodeo Fairgrounds Steering Committee. I guess this is the last time I'm able to talk about it, this call to public. Late last night, I learned through a Facebook post that the scheduled community meeting for the master plan was being delayed. Today, without any deliberation amongst the steering committee members, we were informed by staff that the meeting will be pushed to early June. That is not how this process was supposed to work. The timing of this decision, immediately following the release of cost estimates in today's paper, reinforces a growing concern in the community and people that I work with that the steering committee and public input are being treated as merely procedural steps to check off, and rather than meaningful parts of the decision-making process. I have pushed back on that perception. Today's action, though, makes that much harder to do. In my career as an engineer, I've seen what happens when decision makers discount data that doesn't align with what they want to see. History gives us clear examples where known risks and warnings were not acted on. Think about the Space Shuttle Challenger accident and 3 Mile Island. Now, this is obviously not of that scale, but the principle is the same. When you ignore the data or disrupt process, you increase the likelihood of a bad outcome. Now, we all hired a third-party team, GH2, to run a structured, data-driven, community-informed process. Delaying meetings when the information becomes uncomfortable undermines that process. If we are going to do this right, and I really hope we do, we need to stay committed to the process that's set by the steering committee. Follow the data, respect the role of the steering committee, and engage the public transparently and consistently. Otherwise, we risk losing trust in both the process and the resulting outcomes. Thank you.
Michael Marchand.
Good afternoon. A few more thoughts on SR 89, and perhaps get your pen out. Oh, and there's a handout after the speech for you to peruse at your leisure. Michael Marchand here. The SR 89 project has flipped from planning to execution. It's all up to Kim Lehorn now. There are 3 elements to any project: scope, cost, and schedule. The old adage is that you can only meet 2 of the 3, with the third floating. For example, if you hold firm on scope and cost, the schedule will likely move out a bit. Why is this? It's because planning is imperfect and stuff happens, as they say. But a project manager doesn't have a blank check to come back for loads more money or to tell you that the schedule is blown. There must be legitimate reasons for change orders. Expect tweaks, but not wholesale changes for a well-managed project. More on the big 3. First, scope. Scope is now locked down with alternative 2C. You might consider a study session, doing a deep dive on exactly where the Michigan left turn will be located, and especially why there. What intersections will benefit? New traffic flow? challenges, etc. Regarding costs, I'm betting they will go up. Why? Alternatives 2A, B, and C costs were nearly identical, not reflecting the unique costs of roundabouts and the new Michigan left turn, all in the handout that you'll be getting in a moment. Please make sure that you can consistently trust but verify when managing your suppliers. Honestly, I've seen a whole lot of trust, but not so much in the verify area. I invite you to prove me wrong. So please keep cost high on your watch list. Finally, there's schedule. I think that we can all agree that minimizing road closure time is a top goal for the project. But I don't get one thing. There's a challenging 1,400-foot stretch, or 1/4 mile, of roadway through the heart of the Narrows that's preventing at least one lane of traffic from getting through. Remember, we were told that people could get to their driveways on either side of this 1/4 mile stretch throughout the construction. Now, 1/4 mile out of 2.3 miles is about 12% of the total roadway. Meanwhile, the estimated shutdown time is 3.5 to 5 months, we were told, with the entire project taking 12 to 14 months. That means 12% of the roadway would shut things down completely for up to 42% of the project. Please explain that to me. Just get that 1/4 mile stretch done in record time, and it seems like we have a fighting chance for at least a single lane of traffic flow in not much time. So what can be done to minimize closure time? Here are a few ideas. Incentivize Kimley-Horn to create a groundbreaking design, pun intended, that minimizes the closure time. Incentivize the contractors as well. Work 24/7 on this stretch of road while it's closed. Finally, find innovation from the greatest minds in the country. No hubris allowed. If there isn't money in the budget for these things, then how about a GoFundMe page? Seriously, where there's a will, there's a way. And I think a deep dive study session on road closure minimization strategies, along with their pros, cons, and costs, would be a great thing for everyone. Leave no stone unturned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Next.
Truly Bracken.
I'm here today, most significantly because it's Water Month and Earth Week, and we have a pause as we're reconsidering the master plan. It's important, in fact, it's urgent that the environmental aspects of this master plan be considered in the master planning process. It's a present problem. The existing biological treatment basin is too small to remove an adequate quantity of nitrogen and phosphorus and E. coli from the runoff from the rodeo grounds. You have the experts on your staff who can tell you that, who can provide the sampling data that goes back to 2008, who can summarize the two major environmental reports done on the runoff done on the entire watershed and its improvement, calling out the rodeo grounds as the single most significant source of nitrogen and phosphorus in the entire watershed by an order of magnitude over the next highest source. To ignore that in the planning process means that the siting of buildings will be done, but the siting of what the environmental team is asking for, which is more biological treatment along the perimeter of the rodeo grounds, and a composting system that's designed to treat manure in a confined way, will be ignored. If there will be no space for it, if you put parking up to that fence line and you site a number of buildings and RV areas without considering this. There will be no funds left if you wait till the permitting process. It only makes sense to wait until permitting if you only think you have a problem after additional construction is done. You have a problem now. I'd urge you to speak with the environmental staff, have a study session if necessary, to get their input so that I know that they've met with both Mike Morris and Scott Ballack and with the GH2 team recently, but their input is not being welcomed into the design. It is not being included as they lay out the site itself. I think it's really urgent, and you're going to see a lot more public interest as we go forward because people care about the lake. You need source reduction and not just treatment at the lake. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, truly.
John Lutz.
Good afternoon, Mayor Rusing, Mayor Pro Tem Fruworth, and the Prescott City Council. My name is John Lutz, 542 North Hacienda Drive in Prescott. Thank you for your service in this time to address the looming construction of the Prescott Plaza Hotel. I've been a Whiskey Row businessman for 45 years. I came to Prescott in March of '81 to open the McMahon's Furniture Store in the Sam Hills Hardware Building, and today I co-own Van Gogh's Art Gallery in the same location. For perspective, Van Gogh's Ear has repeatedly percolated to being one of the top 3 things to do while visiting Prescott by sites like TripAdvisor and Yelp, right up with Charlotte Hall and the Fippen. The local flavor of local businesses are what makes Prescott Prescott. The permissions granted by the City of Prescott to allow the construction of the Prescott Plaza Hotel have the potential to precipitate the failure of Whiskey Row's businesses that strive to make Prescott Prescott. We are the center of the allure of our hometown. Never in 45 years of speaking with the public on Whiskey Row have so many residents and visitors confronted me with a single issue as have confronted me with, how do you feel about the new hotel? Never have I heard as solidly negative public discourse on an issue. Everybody's hometown hates this project. Unfortunately, the last city council approved this moving forward in their 9th hour. But it is going to be the legacy of this city council as it becomes a reality. When approached, my answer might surprise some in that I see potential positives in this project. I think overnight stays in the center of town would be good for downtown vitality. I don't have issues with the design, and I see increased height as a solution to sprawl. Up to this point, my big stop has been the imminent conversion of our shared public resource, our taxpayer-funded public parking garage, into a gift to Prescott Plaza Hotel. With the previous city council's incredibly unpopular decision to move forward with the developer of Prescott Plaza Hotel, my concern has shifted to the potential loss of business the actual construction could result in for those of us who are Prescott. Unlike the assembly on the former City Hall site, PPH has no site on which to stage construction. The assembly has setbacks. There are no businesses directly facing the impacted 20 or so parking spaces. PPH has no setbacks. There is no space from which to stage this construction. That will not negatively affect all other Whiskey Row businesses. The City of Prescott must be keenly aware of this fact. Whiskey Row businesses will be holding you accountable for any loss of business incurred by allowing the closure of the sidewalk, blocking of vital Whiskey Row parking, or closure of the alley. We, the people who make Prescott Prescott, are in heated discussion and researching the paths we may need to take to hold the City of Prescott and Prescott Plaza Hotel financially responsible for any loss of business, any and all loss of business caused by the closure of the access resources we have paid for in our roles supporting the vitality of Prescott. In major metropolitan cities, site-restricted construction is accomplished at great expense to the developer, without closing sidewalks, parking, and alley accesses. The developer of this project in the heart of Prescott should expect this kind of expense. The expense of the construction of the Prescott Plaza Hotel cannot be borne by the Whiskey Row business community. I am here today to let you know that we will fight for our lives to save the businesses that are Prescott. Thanks for your time. I hope we, your supporters and constituents, are heard. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Tony Hamer.
Mayor and Council, thank you very much for the time. I'm going to talk about promises made and promises kept. Good businesses track their performance with clear metrics and key indicators. They measure results against goals they've set. Yet here in Prescott, our City Council has no such system. As a result, we as citizens are left in the dark about how well our elected officials are actually delivering on their promises and priority projects. In early January, Ion Prescott bought a simple and powerful accountability system to the city. We presented it to you and even offered you tools and support to clearly show the community what you are accomplishing. We promised we would be back on the subject every quarter, and this is us fulfilling our promise. Unfortunately, you chose not to respond and participate. You did not confirm your goals. You did not share specific metrics and key process indicators. So that leaves us at this point, a quarter later, with no official way to measure performance. So we at Ion Prescott took matters into our own hands. We've carefully reviewed their public speeches, your public speeches, from campaign materials, council meetings, etc. From these sources, we've compiled the clear promises that each of you have made to the community. Now, at the end of the quarter, it's time to turn on the spotlight. Today, we're going to review the progress of the Magnificent Seven, our 7 city council members, and see how you're doing against the commitments you've made to us, the people of Prescott. Late breaking news. One of our councillors came through this week and actually made a report in terms of what he had achieved and what value added he'd made for the community. And that was Jay Ruby. Maybe in response to some friendly needling, but we managed to get Jay in. Thank you, Jay. All other councillors and the mayor defaulted on their leadership responsibility. We've developed a matrix that provides our opinion of the performance of council members. Future assessments will be assisted by the council members opening up to the community and providing more guidance as to their responsibilities and value added to each one of us in the community. Ideally, we would like to move towards a self-evaluation scheme of your accountability for your promises. Let me just quickly go to 2 council members, and Mr. Ruby's the easiest one to go to because we don't have to go and search for his goals. It's very clear. He says, we're going to have to be smart about developing different aspects of our economy. And I think that means attracting young families here. In his report, Jay said that he has supported a loan from the city to qualify for credits to build an 82-unit apartment. That was a major...
Mr. Hamer, your time's up. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Let me just finish.
Mr. Hamer, we have many other people that would like to speak.
I noticed
your
the
time is up.
inaccuracy of your watch up until now.
And I have the timer.
Chad DeVries.
Thank you very much.
Wow, very fair and balanced here. My name's Chad DeVries. Thank you, Mayor and council members. I'm Chad DeVries. I live in Prescott. I'm from IN Prescott. Tony and I created a platform because we saw a lack of transparency in this city, and we heard loud and clear from the public that they wanted something different. Today, we reached over 25,000 consistent followers across our platforms, residents, taxpayers, business owners who are paying attention and want the truth about what's happening in Prescott. On January 16th, during a voting session, Tony spoke about promises made and promises kept. That single moment generated over 20,000 views alone on that one video. That's not by accident. That's because people are watching, listening, and they care. We are not here just to sit quietly in your audience. We are here to expand access. Today, we are syndicating this actual voting session across our platforms in real time, giving your constituents direct, unfiltered visibility in how decisions are being made. IN Prescott is helping to inform the residents of this city, bringing awareness, transparency, and a level of visibility that simply didn't exist before. So I'll be very clear. Instead of avoiding or hiding from our platform, you should be embracing it, because this is where your audience already is. Again, I'd like to recognize Jay Ruby and Ted Gambogi for stepping up, coming on our show, and being willing to engage directly with the public. That's what leadership looks like. Tony didn't get to finalize on the review of the city council, and I have reviews as well. We will be posting this on our platform. I know due to time, we're running out. I do agree with a lot of things. Mayor Rusing, I love that you promised develop a diverse business community and vibrant downtown. I love that, but have we done that? There's no report available. Some promises on the infill, cheerleading evident versus directed and resource programs, tax revenue and budget will need to be deft management, is not regarded with respect by city staff. Lois, you have some great things on there too, and I think you're doing some good things. Complete, sell, and pass a general plan and how to better the plan, public engagement, and I can go on, but I'm running out of time. So, Mr. Grady, enigmatic member of council, has experience but has not made an impact on the direction of the city. Will you has strong relationship with the community, seen as an outsider. In closing, here's the bottom line. You don't control the narrative anymore, the public does. And we are making sure that they see everything. Thank you for your time today, and we'll be posting this on our online platform. Thank you.
Levi Davey. Darby.
I ain't as fancy as all these other people. I was instructed by my wife, because I'm the chairman of the Yavapai County Fair, my general manager, Rosie Darby, to thank you all for postponing the project of the rodeo grounds because it wasn't right. In my personal opinion, GH2 don't know their head from their ass, because they've put the warm-up arenas and stuff over here and the animals over here, so how are we supposed to get them across? So postpone it is the best thing we need to do, because it went from 60 million to 142 million. How do we do that? That's what I understand. I don't understand how we had a steering committee with the two biggest functions in Yavapai County, which is Prescott Rodeo and Yavapai County Fair. And the steering committee the Yavapai County Fair wasn't on the steering committee till last week. So how do we have all these events with the two biggest functions in Yavapai County not on the same board? That's what I don't understand. GH2 has done a pretty decent job, but they ain't done their job, plain and simple. They've tried to help the community. They didn't do that right. Only thing they want to do is make the money and leave. They haven't seen what the actual heritage of the rodeo grounds is, what the history is, and how do you make an actual rodeo grounds work. So postponing it is the best thing. I do thank you all. Like I said, I'm not the political person to be here, but Rosie had a client that was passing away in Seligman, so I got stuck with you, and I apologize for that, because I'm straight up and straightforward. GH2 does not know what they're doing, and that is all there is to it. The community, the neighborhood, I understand their concerns, because I face it every year. I've been running the county fair for 15 years. We left the Findlay Event Center, which used to be Tim's Toyota Center, with 4,000 people attending. We came here, first year was 4,000. Last year was over 50,000 people attending Yavapai County Fair. So like I said, how do we have a steering committee where their two biggest functions weren't on the steering committee? The rodeo was, but the fair wasn't. So we had to put protest and petition to get the county fair on there. They're not doing their job. So the people, the community that are upset, they have every right to be, because the plans that they've presented for the rodeo grounds, fairgrounds expansion isn't right. It ain't gonna work. We don't need more dog parks. We don't need a swimming pool there. This is an event center, not a community center. And they hate me for saying that, but that's the truth. It's an event center. Now, can we make it in a community center? Yes, we can. Your expert, equine expert, she wants to pave the whole parking lot. My son has a $40,000 heel horse. Horse is the biggest pansy in the world. He walks on concrete, he's lame for 3 weeks. So why are we paving an event center for animals to walk on and make it asphalt? That don't work. Like I said before, bullpens are on the east side, the arena's on the west side. How do we get animals back and forth to the arena? They couldn't answer that question for me. I know I'm not very educated, even though I graduated from the U of A, but come on, common sense, GH2 don't have common sense. So thank you, City of Prescott, for postponing this. I know my wife is going to kill me when I get home, but she should have been here because I'm not the public speaker. Thank you very much, City of Prescott.
Thank you, Levi.
Bonnie McMinn.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Short and sweet. This request is to reschedule the Strickland Park meeting that is scheduled for tomorrow. Process matters, and so does communication with short notice. The first time I saw it was April 12th, which was Sunday. Short notice, limited signage, and no direct outreach to the neighborhoods. The public cannot meaningfully participate, especially for a project involving our protected open space. Please reset this with proper notice and outreach. And I might add that I drove to the site yesterday, and the sign was an 8.5 by 11 on the other side of the big Strickland Park sign. And so if you're coming west, heading towards the park, you can't see the sign. So it's on a little stick, and I don't think there's going to be good turnout. I plan on being there tomorrow, but this is very, very important, what they're going to be talking about, especially as it pertains to our open space. Thank you.
I'd like to direct staff to reconsider rescheduling this event, because I got a phone call that there's numerous people that weren't aware of this event, and short notice, and a lot of them will be unable to attend. So I think it's important that we have as much attendance as possible. So I would ask you to reconsider if possible. Thank you.
Understood.
Kenneth Gollner.
Hi, Kenneth Gollner of Prescott. I'd like to express my concern, my opposition to the flock camera system in the city. My first question is, why has there not been any long-form presentation for the city about the cons of the flock system, since the flock company themselves gave their presentation on the alleged benefits of flock? Second, I'd like to point to an email from the public record. The email was from Police Chief Amy Bonney, addressed to Tyler Goodman, and I'll read some excerpts. This is regarding flock. It has not come to study session, and we definitely would rather that it not, at least not initially. Mostly I'm concerned about everyone knowing where they are. Of course, they will find out eventually. I'm also concerned with the level of conspiracy theorist we may see. That being said, I'm not entirely opposed to it, but would recommend that we present it after the trial period so we have some success stories to share. And the email goes on. Later down it says, the system can tell us how many cars, additionally, one of the really great things we can tell is traffic volume. The system can tell us how many cars use the roads and how many unique license plates are using them. Further, it says, quote, but this system can tell us how many unique license plates are using the roadways and should help when it comes to grants and street planning. So, end quote. So if flock is allegedly only used for crime and can only be used for crime, I point you to that set of statements. Then moving on from there, any goal to keep people safe is only lawful if the government doesn't break the law or violate due process rights in order to do so. To do otherwise is a usurpation of power. Having privacy is not merely opinion, it is the law. Some have claimed that there is no right to privacy in public, but even in Arizona, the right to privacy is enshrined in the Constitution. The state constitution, Article 2, Section 8, explicitly titled Right to Privacy reads, no person shall be disturbed in his private affairs or his home invaded without authority of law. If there was no right to privacy when out in public, then there would be no requirement for what's known as reasonable articulable suspicion, or RAS, in order for a law enforcement officer to stop and search a person and their property, such as vehicle, when being pulled over. This means that the officer must have a valid reason that uniquely identifies the person being stopped as suspected of a crime, and that such a reasonable person of a crime such that a reasonable person would understand and agree that the evidence and suspicion reasonably identifies the stopped person as being tied to evidence of a crime. Failing the RAS requirement, the person cannot be lawfully searched. However, with flock surveillance, any person who drives or walks past a camera and is recorded and identified by the camera is essentially being treated as though they are suspected of a crime. Since if they were not suspected of a crime, there would be no reasonable lawful justification to surveil and track them in the first place, which is essentially presumption of guilt. The Supreme Court ruled in Carpenter v. United States that to track someone's movements over time is a warrantless search and violated what the court calls the privacies of life, quote unquote, even though it was only ruling in the case at hand which dealt with cell phone site location data. The logic and conclusions have many relevant parallels to the flock surveillance system. Being able to incidentally observe a person in public or even incidentally photograph or video.
Ken, I'm sorry, your time is up. You've
Okay.
had 4 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's all, Mayor.
Okay, moving on.
Next item is the consent agenda.
Okay, is anyone pulling any items? I'm pulling item F, the hockey rink, and
I'm pulling item G.
G, the drill tech.
Madam Mayor, I'm pulling item D as in Denmark.
D is in Denmark. Okay, thank you. We have D, F, and G will be pulled. Do I hear a motion for the other items?
Mayor, I move to approve consent agenda items 8A through 8E, excluding item D.
And F and G.
Well, I only said through E, but I'll say through G, excluding D, F, and G.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a second?
Frederickson, second.
Okay, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Okay, we'll start off with item D as in Denmark.
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to make a comment. The only reason I pulled that is I'd like the public, both here and online, to hear who the new candidates are.
Do you want to cover that, or are you asking staff to do it?
I think I'll ask staff to do it.
Okay, let me get to it. So per the recommendation from the Council Subcommittee on Appointments, today the Council will approve the appointment of Michael Taylor for a term of April 2026 to the end of March 2029 for the Building Safety Advisory and Appeals Board, and Diane Travis, Newt Lynn, and Jeffrey Miller for terms of 2026 to April of 2029 on the Prescott Preservation Commission, and Connie Kentelme for a term of April 2026 to end of March 2028, also on the Prescott Preservation Commission.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
We have 2 more items.
You have to do them individually because they've been pulled.
Oh, okay.
I move to approve item A-D.
Second.
Please vote.
Please give me a minute to initiate it. Passes 7-0.
Thank you. And we're always happy to have the people that step up for our committees, our BCCs, and serve the community. We have a very talented group. Okay, I pulled item F concerning the hockey rink, and I have several questions. This is for the lighting of the hockey rink. This is kind of something unusual, but I support this hockey rink. It's not really an ice one. It's out at Pioneer Park. And I would just like to find out how tall are the poles going to be?
Good afternoon, Mayor. Tamaulipas Recreation Services. So the poles are at 50 feet.
50 feet?
Yes.
And from the specs, it looks like there's going to be 4 of them.
Correct.
And I assume 1 at each end, and then...
In the 4 corners, yes.
Yeah. Did the consultant come out and walk the actual site, or was this all done remotely?
No, actually, there was probably 4 or 5 different field visits that occurred.
Okay.
As you know, there's a lot of concrete around there, so we were trying to not pull up concrete to run conduits and stuff. So many times they visited.
Yeah. So on each pole, there's going to be 3 sets of lights. They call them luminaires.
So there's 3 lights total. Is that correct, Adam? 3 lights total, and the LED technology, they can position them to cover. One of the graphs in the report show you the numbers on the graph are what the lumens are lighting up that arena.
And I didn't see it on the bid, but are there going to be screens to protect the lights from errant hockey pucks?
So the way these are designed, it's the old lights had the big screens, and that would protect it. These, I'd be surprised if somebody got up that high. Not impossible, but they do have their own protection, and they're a lot smaller lenses.
Okay. And then my last question is, are there going to be timers on the lights so that the teams that are playing, are they going to be like paying for a certain amount of time, and then the lights turn off automatically? Because I didn't.
Yeah. So the light. So all of our ball fields now are tied into what's called Control Link, which is done by Musco. That Control Link system then talks to our reservation system. So when somebody has a reservation and pays for it, the lights is part of that payment. And then that system tells, hey, turn the lights on and off at these times, so that they're not on all night or when nobody's there. Okay. So it's controlled, all automated.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's good to know. And it sounds like a wonderful asset to Pioneer Park.
Yes.
Thanks, Tim.
Mayor, I move to approve item 8F.
Sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, there's public comment on this, and since it's been pulled, it's up to the mayor if she'd like to take it.
Oh, I'd love to, yes.
Stephanie Doss.
Hello, Madam Mayor and City Council. Is it okay if we do this together? I'm Adrienne, the next commentator. We have the same things to say.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so I represent the roller skating community in Prescott and roller skating in general, and also roller derby. We use the rink often. So when hockey is not on the rink, we use the rink.
Yeah, my name is Stephanie Doss. I am representative of a very small, what I would call ultra recreational hockey team, hockey league. And we've been consistently using the rink for the past 4 years.
And we've been consistently using the rink for 20 years. So what we would ask at this point, collectively, between hockey, skating, and roller derby is the rink is in disarray. It needs help. It needs maintenance. So anything that the lovely city workers bring forward is necessary. We want to keep it going. It is used a large portion of the week every month for the whole year. And it's really important to the roller skating and the derby community and the hockey.
Well, thank you. This has been very enlightening. I didn't know we had a roller derby community here, and that's good to know.
I started it in 2008, and it's been going strong since then. So.
Oh, that's amazing. And then also our hockey, hockey.
Oh, well, that's just me. There's a very large hockey community.
Yes,
for
I know
children,
that.
For adults,
Yeah.
and with the wheelhouse gone, I think that the rink at Pioneer Park is even more used than it has been over the past few years. So, as Adrian said, the repairs are necessary.
Yeah, I remember teams having to go to Phoenix to practice, so they can practice here now. Well, we're working on our budget, and we can direct staff to maybe look into what might be needed to get that surface repaired. We don't want any potholes.
They've been really great. There's some great plans in the works. We just need you guys to approve the budget.
Okay, all righty. Very good. And it's too bad you didn't wear your roller skates.
I didn't know about this until like 2 hours ago, or I would have gone all out.
Shown us some moves.
I really would have.
Okay, well, thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
That's all, Mayor. So now if you'd like to make your motion.
I will move to approve item 8F.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
And then, last but not least, item G, Mr. Ruby, take it away.
Yes, so I pulled this item because I looked at the expenses for drill tech, and I did some research just because I'm sometimes curious around like cost. And there was an item listed for $12,300. And when I called the manufacturer to see what it was sold at, and it's sold at $7,800 from Grand Canyon Supply. So I just wanted to understand that discrepancy with sort of in the back of my mind. I know markups happen, but what is our relationship to this place, and can we have any impact on these types of markups?
I'm Steve Wolfers, Utilities Manager. This was an emergency procurement, so we allow our vendor to make the choices as to what needs to happen. In this case, this well was built and drilled by Drill Tech. We found out during normal inspections that that there was a problem with it, and so we wanted to pull it as soon as we possibly could so we could have it for the summer. This is well number 5 in Chino. It's number 2 in Chino as the size, and with airport well number 5 out, that gives us a lot less flexibility. In this case, this is a pump that puts water back into the casing to lubricate the pieces parts within the casing. The quote we have here is related not only to the pump itself, but also all the customizations that go with it. So there was some machine work that was completed, as well as additional modules and seals. And so everything that has to do with the installation of this pump and the purchase of the pump is in this line item. So talking to the vendor, there is no markup. It's just what costs them for labor and time and parts.
I guess confuses me because the labor is in the estimate and the installation, which I view as separate costs. But the piece itself, when I called the Grand Canyon Supply, he said it leaves here for $7,800, and we're ending up paying $12,300 for it. I didn't really get a sense of why that markup happens, and do we have any impact if we're working with an established vendor? Do we have any ability to work with them in terms of how much markups are?
This is not under contract, so we do not have that control. This is an emergency procurement. The reason why we use Drill Tech is because they're literally around the corner from our Chino well sites. They're very responsive, and they've always given us they're a great partner to work with. We don't really set the prices in an emergency procurement generally. In my experience, we have taken what it costs because we need to get this well back in service, or we need to get whatever is out of service as an emergency back in service. So for us, we don't really quibble about what the prices are. We assume that we're being charged the appropriate cost, and to be honest, to have a well replaced, as well as the shafting and all the parts, under $100,000 is an amazing effort. If we had to call a group from Phoenix to come up here, they would have responded within weeks because they have to bring all their stuff here. Drill Tech has all of their things here. And it would have been well over $100,000, probably just in mobilization fees. So we felt that this was a fair price for what we asked them to do, and we didn't really go any further than that.
Great, thank you.
And I would just like to add that this was a true emergency because our big producer, Airport Number 5, is offline, and this was our second big producer, and if it had gone offline, we would have been in dire straits. So we were very fortunate to have Drill Tech out in Chino, conveniently located, got the part straight away because sometimes we do have to wait for parts. And in this case, there was no delay. And who's going to put out a request for proposal on an emergency repair? So thank you very much for the speedy response and taking care of the situation.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I move that we approve item 8G.
Second.
Councilman Ruby, thank you. Passes 7-0. Okay, next is consent ordinances. 9A, adoption of retroactive ordinance number 2026-1935, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Prescott, Yavapai County, Arizona, vacating and abandoning a certain municipal right-of-way which consists of the westerly 25 feet of South Marina Street, and selling convey to Veronica Grace and Daryl Ivan Brown, and authorizing the mayor and city staff to take all the necessary steps to effectuate said abandonment, and adoption of 3 ordinances updating bylaw language in the Land Development Code related to City of Prescott boards, commissions, and committees as follows. Number 1, ordinance number 2026-1939, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the City of Prescott, Yavapai County, Arizona, amending the City of Prescott's Land Development Code appendices by repealing the former Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws with the newly amended Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws and providing a severance provision. Ordinance number 2026-1940, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the City of Prescott, Yavapai County, Arizona, amending the City of Prescott Land Development Code appendices by replacing the former Prescott Preservation Commission bylaws with the newly amended Prescott Preservation Commission bylaws and providing a severance provision, and ordinance number 2026-1941, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Prescott, Yavapai County, Arizona, amending the city of Prescott's land development code appendices by replacing the former Board of Adjustment bylaws with the newly amended Board of Adjustment bylaws and providing a severance provision.
Thank you. Good job. I move to adopt consent ordinance items 9A and 9B.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to pull 9B.
Okay, thank you.
And the only reason I want to pull it is just to have a layman's description in a couple of sentences for the benefit of the public here and online as to why we're doing it.
I think we need the vote on 9A before we get to the 9B.
So can I second Kathy's 9A motion?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Good afternoon, Alex Bramlett, Planning Manager. Thank you very much. So the city code was updated for the boards and commissions, and that was brought to you all in January. So this is a cleanup item for the bylaws to be consistent with that language approved for the city code updates.
Does it involve tenure of members of the boards and commissions?
It made it consistent with the city code changes, largely touching on absences, and then further clarifying that every year, once the boards and commissions are onboarded, that first April meeting when they're all there, they vote for a chair and vice chair. And that's what the changes that were made in the city code.
So, Councilman Gambogi, it made the land development code appendices related to these three boards and commissions mirror the forming documents that the council adopted earlier this year.
Thank you. Therefore, I'd like to make a motion. I move to approve item 9B.
Second.
Passes 7-0.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the regular agenda. Because of time constraints and there might be a extended discussion about item B, we're going to go A, C, and then save B for last. Thank you.
WSA 25-060, water service application submitted by Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University for a 16-unit campus housing project. Location, a portion of APN 106-03-004 in T14NR02W, Section 03, Southeast 14.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Brian Reese. I'm the Water Resources Manager here for the city under Community Development Department. Per the amended 2022 water management policy, a water service application was submitted for this project to evaluate estimated demand and for approval of the water service. There were no formal planning applications required for this project per land development code. On the screen in front of you shows the general location of the project, located on the Embry-Riddle campus. This slide shows a general site plan and landscape plan for the proposed project, which consists of 4 residential buildings, with each of them containing 4 residential units, giving a total of 16 residential units for this project. Demand analysis was prepared by city staff utilizing the multipliers from the water resource management model. So based on the plan in front of you, the estimated demand for the 4 buildings was determined to be 1.92 acre feet per year. The project proposes approximately a half an acre foot of landscape. The landscape will include low water use plants from the Prescott Active Management Area 5th Management Plan. Based on the proposed landscape, the outdoor water use was estimated to be 0.7 acre feet per year, and this was based on the Arizona Department of Water Resources 1.5 acre feet of water per acre for low use water plants. The total water for the anticipated for this project is 2.62 acre feet per year. So water service application 25060 was heard by the Water Issues Subcommittee on February 3rd, 2026. The Water Issues Subcommittee recommended approval of the application on condition of removing turf from the landscape plan. The applicant agreed to that condition and removed the turf. I have to apologize. It was removed from your written agenda item, but not from the presentation in front of you. So I apologize for that. I'll give you the correct numbers were stated earlier. So in summary, we have a 4-dorm building, 16 total units, estimated demand for the building of 1.92 acre feet. Estimated demand for the landscape is now 0.7 feet without the turf. There was no previous usage, and the total estimated demand for the project is 2.62 acre feet at this time. So with that, I just wanted to let you know that the residential budget, which this would come out for, at the current time has 16.5 acre feet within it, so there is water within the budget for this project. The applicant is here if you have any questions for them. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer. That completes my presentation on this project.
Yeah, this is housing for the ROTC program out at Embry-Riddle University. We did have a conversation about stormwater reuse and capture on this project, both active and passive. It can be done voluntarily. We just suggested it to the applicant because we don't really have a water policy in place. But I think we're starting a conversation where part of our water conservation plan should include a more formal policy for stormwater capture and reuse. Any other comments? Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Mr. Gambogi.
Brian, when you say turf, are we talking astroturf or grass?
Well, the project was, there was a little bit of a confusion at the time of the WIS. On the landscape plan, it said turf, which we took as meaning grass turf, actual natural grass. The plan was changed to say artificial turf. So at this point, there's no natural grass proposed with the project.
So is this saying you have to remove the artificial turf?
Oh, no, not at all. No, the artificial turf, if the applicant proposes to use it where it's shown on the plan, would be just fine.
Jay Ruby.
Yes, so I was at the Water Issues Subcommittee meeting, but I was speaking from the audience, and then I'm probably the only person who can't speak at the Water Issues Subcommittee meeting now because it would break open meeting law. But before I was notified of that, I asked, Embry-Riddle, you're a state-of-the-art university. How can you model for our community a good stormwater catchment system? And at that time, I spoke with a person here, and I connected them with someone who has some expertise in stormwater catchment. And this was the exchange. I received your voice message regarding stormwater containment. We have a pond at the project site that I met with the city council on, and it was identified on the plans. This is typical for most of our projects as designed by our civil engineer. We have your name on file should we need any future assistance. This is Water Awareness Month. This is why I'm doing this, because The volunteer, we're going to volunteer to do it. I don't think it came through because the response of the person that they wrote to was, your message reads like a brush off. Of course, you have a competent engineer to plan drainage on the site. The pond you refer to sounds like a typical detention pond intended to manage surface flood flows to prevent damage to other areas. This is an inadequate water management strategy that meets local codes, but it does not address best water conservation practices. So the issue here, and I guess this is a question for Embry-Riddle, is are you willing to actually go beyond just building a retention pond? We need to, in the long term here in Prescott, get our rainwater catchment, you could call it divine importation, into the ground so that it doesn't evaporate. We don't have a code right now, so this is reliant on your goodwill. And I'm wondering if you would be able to make a commitment, because we've established a strong foundation for water conservation, using water more efficiently and effectively to extend supplies is a long-term Prescott goal. And that's the responsibility of both the city as a water provider and all water customers. You're going to be building a dorm. This could be showcased to the larger community about how to deal with rainwater catchment. In the response to this email, I didn't see an interest in that.
Mr. Ruby, I think we're getting off the topic here.
Well, Embry-Riddle's here, so I'd like to hear their response.
Well, they're welcome to speak if they'd like to talk. It's always wonderful to hear from the applicant.
Hello, Council. My name is Brad Sand. I'm the Director of Facilities at Embry-Riddle. I did read those emails that were sent. We didn't intend it as a brush off. I think there was some misunderstanding of required by code detention versus alternative stormwater management and recharge. So we are very interested in those strategies, but this project also has the same budget and time requirements as other, our students show up next fall, so we're in a little bit of a race to do that. Our interest would be in, because we're, individual applications for individual sites mean less to us than a complete watershed look at our campus. So we would be willing to take a look at, we have significant runoff that goes through our big central wash, and that has recently been delisted by it's no longer waters of the U.S. It falls under Arizona DEQ now. So we do have more ability now to manage that water as it comes through our campus. It used to be a hands-off, no-rise situation. So that's where we are, is budget and schedule are in charge, but we're certainly willing to talk with the community about doing it differently. And I speak as the person who was on the team who did the North Topeka, Kansas Alternative Stormwater Management Plan as a member of a team by HNTB engineers. So we understand very well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you very much. Do I hear a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move to approve WSA 25-060.
Second.
Please vote.
I'm choosing to abstain, which will still be a yes.
Passes 6-0-1. Next item is WSA 26-002. Water service application submitted by Commerce Construction Co. LP, location State Route 89 and Jenna Lane, APN 102-05-033H.
Okay, so per the amended 2022 water management policy, water service application was also submitted for this project to estimate the water usage and approval of the water service. So no formal planning application was required for the project per the Land Development Code. The site is located just north of Pioneer Parkway. I think Jenna Lane is to the north of the project, as shown on the vicinity map. Next slide shows a conceptual layout of this particular project. It consists of plus or minus 370,000 square foot of commercial and retail use located within the Deep Well master plan area. So a demand analysis was prepared by city staff. We utilized non-residential water multipliers from the water resource management model, utilizing existing buildings that represent buildings that represent the small buildings, the medium-sized buildings, and the large buildings and the associated uses in this shopping center. The total estimated demand for the buildings was 20.3 acre feet per year. Based on the site plan provided by the applicant, there's approximately 5.1 acre feet of landscape associated with the project. And utilizing the low-use plant, Arizona Department of Water Resources, 1.5 acre feet of water per acre, we get an estimate for outdoor use of 7.6 acre feet of water, giving a total demand for the project, or a total estimated demand for the project at 27.9 acre feet. So this, per our current water policy guideline number 14, no single water service application can be approved if the estimated demand is greater than 50% of the remaining semi-annual budget. Projects that request more than 50% have a couple different choices. They can file the water service application at another time when water is available in the budget, or they can file an appeal of the 50% rule. Applicants shall demonstrate the benefit to the city, such as job creation, wages, sales tax, economic impact, and other benefits if they choose to do an appeal. All such requests will be reviewed by the Water Issues Subcommittee and the Council. If City Council grants the appeal, the amount of water granted in the appeal would be included in the annual water assessment provided to City Council, but we do not remove it from the budget because obviously these large appeals would take up the entire budget. So the applicant has requested an appeal of the 50% rule. In your packet, provided the benefit letter that was provided by the applicants for your review. This water service application was heard by the Water Issues Subcommittee on March 3rd, 2026. The Water Issues Subcommittee recommended forwarding approval of this appeal to Council. So we do have representatives from the applicant here and the owner today that can field your questions on this project, and I'd be happy to try to field any questions you might have also.
Okay, any comments? We have Jay Ruby, you're still up here. Did you have another comment?
No, I just put it up again.
Oh, okay. I see Patrick waving his hand over there. We'll go with you.
Mayor, just make sure that you're on the correct item.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, thank you. Got it.
So, Brian, what happens to our water allocation system if we approve this particular project?
The budget will not change. Basically, this would go off on the side of the budget, and it would be referenced at the end of the year. I do for the Water Issues Subcommittee, I do a kind of end of the year summary of how much water we've allocated through the budget system and through the appeals system, and note that so that we can move forward with it, but it will not affect the budget.
So I know this next question doesn't relate specifically to the role of the WIS or your review, but I would just echo Councilman Ruby's earlier questions, regarding Embry-Riddle. So looks like they're not addressing, on-site water management. Obviously, I didn't hear anything about that, but this is really outside our scope of our vote, I suspect.
Well, and also we're approving the water allocation, the water service request and the demands associated with the potable water use on this site. So approval of stormwater features, and it happens in the city throughout the permitting process, but in other permitting process other than the water service application.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Is there a drainage system that's going to be built to direct the stormwater into our stormwater system?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the details. I don't know if somebody from the applicant is, but yes, they do have a stormwater retention facility or detention facility up here, and it would have to meet all of the requirements of the city, which would be to route that water to either the historical drainage path or to a location where that water is going to be accepted without impacting other properties.
Mayor, Council, Jim Hardison with Commerce Construction. In that conceptual layout, the dark green area there along 89, that is a detention area which, per the current city code, would be to capture the first flush. And then thereafter, any additional amount would go over into the wash along 89 and flow down the historical drainage path. Regarding stormwater, the water use of stormwater for other purposes, one, historically rainfall just generally throughout the Southwest is too inconsistent to use cisterns or systems like that, which have been used on lead projects back east. It's just not consistent with that. Open top ponds also create vector problems. And again, you have rainwater inconsistencies to make those unreliable for use in irrigation. So you still end up relying on some form of city or municipal water to irrigate landscaping. What would potentially be beneficial, but it would cause probably some change in both either the city codes and ordinances, is to allow the use of dry wells. I live in Phoenix. We use dry wells in most of the municipalities to return stormwater into the groundwater aquifer. Right now, my understanding reading the code, those aren't allowed, but we would certainly, if you wanted to change that, it would be no problem for us to put those in. So you would be able to get groundwater recapture of that, but right now that's not allowed. So we're doing the best we can within our understanding of the codes and what we do need to capture and detain, but it's not really it's not a reliable source to use for other purposes other than trying to take that dark green area, which is detention, and capturing that first flush and letting it repercolate into the aquifer. A more direct path would be with dry wells, but they're not allowed. That's my understanding.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Let's see, who's next? Mr. Ruby.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, the possibility of a dry well. I think this and the previous application really points to an urgent need of establishing something within our code so that people who are building buildings of a certain size, and this would certainly qualify, and I believe the dorm at Embry-Riddle would as well, to address how we take our rainwater and get it to recharge the aquifer. Evaporation is real here, and it goes up to 40 feet in the ground. So East Coast detention ponds, which are for flood control, don't really help us recharge our aquifer. And I know I'm challenging the people with the applications. This is really a challenge to us at City Council to establish this code.
Thank you. Mr. Gehring.
Thank you, Mayor. So several thoughts about this. And the first would be, no matter what anybody in this room wants, there are going to be between 10,000 and 15,000 new homes in this area of Prescott in the future. And those homes are going to need services. They need to have services close by. This particular development is exactly where we need it. Otherwise, they're going to be driving 89, 69, Willow Creek Road, and causing traffic problems on those sites. And let me close with the city where I'm still consulting city engineer for water and sewer has on the books a requirement for underground storage of stormwater exactly for the purpose of recharging groundwater. Thank you.
I agree, Mr. Gehring. Lois?
Yeah, I was going to totally agree with what Mr. Gehring's saying. You know, we've been excited about having a shopping center up north to provide all the services needed. The $135.8 million in sales is going to generate $4 million for the city. They're going to generate about 790 retail and restaurant jobs. Property tax contribution of 581. You know, so for me, this pencils out. I totally agree with you, Jay. This is, you know, if we want to work on stormwater ahead of our renewal of our water management plan, then we need to begin to start working that, and we need to schedule something. But in the interim, we can't be holding all of the current applicants back. And I've been on the Water Issues Committee for 2.5 years, and we not once used the full retail, you know, the commercial 6-month budget, not once in 2.5 years. So the fact that this is 28 acre feet versus a normal 25, I'm like, bring it on. So I'm a yes, let's go.
Okay, and then we have Mr. Gambogi next.
I hope the representative from the Courier has recognized this momentous event that Gehring and I agree on something. All the council members here that were against 89 were claiming that there's going to be a shopping center up north to take care of the Deep Well Ranch people. So here's the opportunity. I do have a couple questions. On this, I think it's the Water Service Appeal Economic Benefit Report. On item 3, it said there's a construction phase. How long did they expect that construction phase to last? Going once?
I thought Tom was going to stand up. Some of that depends on how we get signed up for shops and majors and things like that, but it could be anywhere from 12 to 18 months.
And on item 4, it says ongoing employment. You expect 790 people to work there. What do you estimate the average wage is? So we can get some, unless I missed it, did you have a bottom line number anywhere else on the report?
Come on, Jason.
We did not estimate that in this report, so you did.
Do you have an estimate of what the average salary is?
I don't at this time. Happy to get you one in the future.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have Mary Frederickson. We haven't heard from her. Let's listen to Mary.
Thank you. Well, I'll just repeat what others have already said, which is I'm all on board with this project, but just to clarify for my own sake, on the economic benefit report that was provided in support of the project, on item 6, where they were referring to property tax that would be generated from this project, the number provided, $580,800 in annual property tax revenue that support the city and regional taxing jurisdictions. Do we have any estimate as to what amount would actually come to Prescott of that number? Because I understand the property tax is what it is, and Prescott gets its teeny tiny bite. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering what that teeny tiny bite might be.
But I might add that the property tax will go to support our local schools. Yeah. Which will be, but you know, our strategic plan highlighted economic development as one of our priorities, and this dovetails perfectly with that. And I just would like to comment, food, groceries, and restaurants. We have no food up north, And this is going to be our first shopping center retail project, I think, since Costco and Trader Joe's, if I remember correctly. So how long has this been? Yeah, been a long time. Okay.
So hang on. So if the applicant and Mr. Ruiz doesn't have an answer as far as what the tiny bite that Prescott gets from property tax, maybe our city manager, just by a percentage, what does that come to the city of property tax?
I'm not sure of the percentage exactly. We can find it for you. I was going to flippantly say like $20. It's not a lot, but I'll find a percentage for you.
Okay.
I think
I'm all on board. I was just wondering what our tiny bite of that amount was.
Currently, I think it's been about $1 million, or a little under $1 million annually.
For the whole city.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I just did want to make it clear. I approve and support this project. I was just questioning about long-term water conservation strategy, so don't take it personally.
Okay.
Mayor, if I could, because it's been commented on by the entire council, I feel like it'd be a good opportunity to give you a little update. We're doing the long-term water management plan right now. We've had already one meeting.
Brian.
Yeah.
No.
Off topic. Thank you.
We're off topic. We've been off topic. That's going further off topic. So let's focus on water service application 26-002.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have Patrick.
Echoing several other comments, if ever there was a cost-benefit analysis that would support an appeal, that this project hits it in spades. So I'm fully supportive. It meets a lot of objectives in our strategic plan that Mayor and Jim and Lois talked about.
Mm-hmm. And I believe there's going to be plenty of residential out there to support this project. Also, it's at the intersection of major highways, and you're going to get a lot of traffic from the north part of the county and Prescott Valley to the east. Any more, do the applicants have any presentation, anything you'd like to say?
My name's Tom Cozzolino. Excuse me. My name is Tom Cozzolino. I'm with Majestic Realty. We own Commerce Construction, and I think a summary in the white paper that we gave you kind of sets out the highlights of where we think the positive points of this project are going to be for the city. Majestic's growth strategy is we're a long-term hold. That's our business model. So we don't build and flip projects. We hold them long-term. Our portfolio is about 90 million square feet across the country. We have a big regional office in Phoenix, so we're already in the state of Arizona. And what that long-term hold strategy does for the community, we become a fabric of that community. So we participate in the community. We help the community in various projects, charitable projects, so on and so forth. So in addition to what was in the white sheet, I just wanted to make those comments. Thank you.
Okay,
And
Lois.
Mayor, you do have public comment too, just one.
Okay.
She looked.
Okay.
I was going to say, I thought you looked like you were ready to make the motion, Mayor.
Yeah. Okay. Good call. Okay.
Walt Kosar.
Month. I was glad to hear the discussion about the stormwater capture, rainwater harvesting. I think that's something that should be integrated into this project, particularly for the landscaping. You know, there's a lot of, you've probably seen a lot of examples of way you can design the landscaping to capture water off of the parking areas. But the one question I have when I was seeing the need for irrigation, why aren't you using treated effluent for your irrigation here? You've got your treated effluent line right there coming off of the airport treatment plant, and that goes up to the golf courses. If you tapped into that, that would be perfect. And I mean, this is a totally new development, so it's not like, I am glad to hear from the developers that they're in it for the long-term commitment, because one of the things you always worry about with these developments is, you know, if they build it, will businesses come in, and more importantly, will they stay for the long term? And hopefully that will work out. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve WSA 26-002.
Second.
Please vote.
Passes 7-0. All right, now we will go back to item B, which is WSA 25-037, water service application submitted by James Griset, location 136, 138, and 140 Montezuma Street, APN 109-02-014A.
Okay, per the amended 2022 water policy, water service application agreement application was submitted for this project for estimated water use and for water service. No formal application was required. No formal planning application was required for this project per the Land Development Code. Project is located in downtown at 136 South Montezuma Street. This project demand analysis was completed by city staff using non-residential multipliers from the water resource management model. The project consists of a 4-story hotel building with a total of 47 rooms. There's a proposed lobby bar, a 4th-floor terrace bar, and ballroom meeting rooms within the first floor. So based on similar hotels with similar amenities, the demand from the water resource management estimated a demand of 5.6 acre feet per year for this development. The project has no proposed landscape component, and historical usage was estimated at 0.1 acre feet per year. Which gives us a total demand estimate for this application at 5.5 acre feet per year. So this project, Water Service Application 25037, was heard by the Water Issues Subcommittee on March 3rd, 2026. Water Issues Subcommittee recommended forwarding approval of to council by a vote of 1 to 1 to 1. At this point, this would come out of the non-residential budget.
Can you please explain the detail? I'm 1 to 1 to 1. I remember one voted for, one abstained, I abstained, and one person voted against it, I believe.
Yes, that's my recollection.
Yeah. Okay.
So at this point in time, in the non-residential budget, we have 24.3 acre feet of water. So there is water for this project in the budget. Representatives of the applicant are here today. Mm-hmm. So if you have any questions for them regarding the project, or I'd be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
Well, let me start off with legal. As it's well known, this is a very controversial project in the community. There's a lot of concerns from as we just heard from Mr. Lutz, about the businesses along Whiskey Row, disruptions. Also, the adjoining tenants whose buildings physically are part of this project that's going to be demoed are very concerned. And now we have a lawsuit that questions whether it can be 4 stories. So we don't really know if it's going to be 3 or 4 stories until the lawsuit's settled. So I would like to hear some input from our legal department whether or not we might want to postpone this project until the lawsuit's settled.
Point of order, Madam Mayor. We're here to talk about water.
I know, but if we approve the water, that's pretty much a green light for it to proceed. And there is a lawsuit involved. So we'll continue. Thank you, Mr. Gambogi.
There is a lawsuit involved. This would have to go through a permitting process, which will take us quite a bit of time to get through the permitting and review. I don't think that the lawsuit prohibits a vote at this point because to the extent that there's going to be an injunction, we will find that out within the next couple of months, and that would be well within the permitting time frame. So I think there's no need to postpone it unless council wants to for more information, which you can then do. But I don't think the law requires us to at this point, given that if we have an injunction, it will prevent the going forward in the project regardless of the vote today.
One of my concerns is if we do give it water and, it starts the process, we haven't addressed structural engineering. Should that be addressed when attached as a stipulation with a demolition permit?
I think you can attach that as a stipulation because our city laws do require it. I think there's few things you can do, but we do need structural engineering as part of a permit. And so, addressing that now and adding that condition would
So
be
we could
lawful.
attach it as a condition to the water service agreement.
Yes, correct.
Because talking to the concerned property owners immediately adjacent, we do need to hire a structural engineer, first of all, to do a feasibility study to see if it can actually be demoed without harming other attached properties, and also a structural engineer on site during the project to make sure things are done properly according to the specifications. So is the applicant here?
Afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Alex Hayes from the law firm Withy Morris Baugh, 2121 East Highland Avenue for the record. Unfortunately, the architect had his hip replaced, so I was the nearest able-bodied person that the applicant could find, but here I am, and I'll try to do my best to answer your technical questions, but happy to also address some of the other kind of bigger picture items. But I do think it's important to just reiterate that the question before you today is the water services agreement. It's not a question of the use. It's not a question of the structural engineering of the building. Those are separate questions, many of which have been settled, particularly the use and design of the building. But the other items related to permitting can be addressed at a later date. And we're happy to address the concerns and the questions of council and the other users along Whiskey Row.
Well, we need to do our due diligence. And unfortunately, we have a state law now that went in effect January 1st, Prop 2447. Are you familiar with that? I mean, it's HB 2447 that takes away any public input by elected officials, planning and zoning, city council. There's no transparency. Everything is done in community development. And so, unfortunately, we're having to kind of rethink the way we do things. And if we need to do some due diligence and attach this stipulation requiring a structural engineer, which would be something that would be routine in any construction project, do you think that would be a big problem?
To the extent, Mayor, that it's routine as part of the building process, and I think that this project will inevitably be required to comply with building codes and go through the applicable review process for the building permit process, I think we'd be absolutely comfortable with that.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Mr. Gehring?
Thank you, Mayor. Question for Mr. Young. Mr. Young, with regard to this lawsuit you mentioned, is there any prospect for the result of that lawsuit to be that the court orders the project to be different than what is before us today?
That's a possibility, yes. So the court wouldn't order a different project, but the court could make an interpretation that 4 stories is not lawful, in which case the project would have to go through a redesign.
And would that have an effect? Would our approval today, if it is forthcoming, would it have an effect on that outcome?
No, I don't think approval or denial, for that matter, would have any income one way or the other on the court case.
Okay, thank you.
We're just trying to get our heads wrapped around this because this is a very unique project. We've never had anything demoed on Whiskey Row willingly, other than when the birdcage burned down. And that was never rebuilt. It was turned into a venue, an open air venue. So we're doing our due diligence because if there's any damage to any of the buildings, we will be named in the lawsuit because we're the ones that issued the permits. So I hope you understand that our stipulation to have a structural engineer involved in the project doing a feasibility study to make sure the demolition is safe and able to be done, and also to be on site to manage the demolition and reconstruction of this project. Any other comments?
Right there.
Let's see, I got Ted.
In the 2023 resident survey, we produced a quadrant analysis, and in the southeast quadrant was where the residents told us it's really important and we're doing a lousy job. There are 2 entries in there: healthcare and the economy. This is a benefit to the city's economy, and this council seems to find every reason known to mankind why not to do it. Today, we're here to evaluate water. I heard the term, well, it's having a structural engineer is usually what we do. I don't know that we usually do that. Can we have somebody from city staff to comment on that?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, Chelsea Walton, Community Development Director. Yes, per the International Building Code 2024, which was just adopted last November, certain structural engineering calculations and specifications are required for these structures.
So we don't need to make that as a stipulation.
I believe Mr. Young answered that question. Council can, if they'd like to, make that as a stipulation.
Let's see, Mr. Ruby, you're next.
If you had a follow-up, Lois, do it, and I'll do mine after.
Lois?
So my question regarding the structural engineer, one of the things that I think we're most worried about is mitigation to the structures on either side.
Sure.
We may dig down back into the 1900s and find out there's, some cars or, God knows what we're going to find under those other 2 buildings. So the question is when we do this, is part of that structural mitigation, does that also apply to help the 2 business owners on either other side? Or is that, whose responsibility is that when we find problems in the middle of this timeline?
Sure. So I'm hearing a couple questions in there. To address the first one, excavation next to existing buildings is covered within the International Building Code. So there are certain things such as site-specific plans, details, sequencing, protection for pedestrians, safety site plan, et cetera. Those are covered by the International Building Code and are required to be submitted submitted prior to permit issuance for review by our building safety team. Relative to who's ultimately responsible, it would be the property owner, and any liability would flow from design registrants as well as construction personnel, et cetera. But that is all between property owner, as far as what has happened and between the two entities. We just make sure via our plan review and inspections that it meets the code and is being built to the approved plans on site.
So if one of the business owners doesn't know they have a problem, the hole opens up and suddenly there's lots of problems. And they weren't planning on financially dealing with all of that. And by the time they have to go about figuring out how to get the money or the loans or whatever to end up fixing their basement and their structure safety, and that has any impact on the applicant's timeline.
Sure.
Will we, how do we process through all of this? What does our codes or our policies say?
Sure. So a lot of times in a construction project, things come up that are not known, and that is handled via the construction personnel. Whenever they find an issue, typically a registered professional, whoever is the registrant for that particular item, say it's a soils item, the engineer of record will come out and provide either specifications and details to mitigate whatever the finding is, or to provide next steps. So depending on the nature of the issue that's found at during the excavation or during the construction, depends on what we do next. So whether that's okay, we need to pause and submit revisions for review because of the finding, or we provide an inspection and we're provided a sealed registrant letter that said, here is what we found, here is how we're mitigating it, and I, as the engineer of record, am sealing off on this design. So it really depends on the nature of what's found on site. But relative to adjacent property damages or anything like that, it is the responsibility of the construction personnel to sufficiently mitigate for that and protect as best can, and should something happen, provide a mechanism to either fix or work with the property owner. In cases where the property, there's a zero lot line as far as downtown is concerned, typically we see the construction personnel working very closely with either property owner, whoever is adjacent, with communications as far as public outreach for the folks that are adjacent. And there's a lot of tight communications typically is what we see. And that is handled between the property owner and any registrant or communicator that's on site with the adjacent owners.
Okay, let's see. Ted?
Madam Mayor,
excuse me.
Mayor Pro Tem, if I may just comment on that too. You know, these issues might be unique to Prescott. It's not something you see here very often, but they're not unique kind of in the development world. And there are engineers that are very experienced with these types of projects. By approving a water services agreement, it would not create liability for the city. And if you can maybe confirm that with the public service champion you have over here.
Are you going to put that in writing? That we're off the hook if anything happens? I want to see that in writing. Okay, moving on.
No, that's accurate. As you know, we will be brought into any suit that happens within the city.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean there's a viable cause of action. The liable party in these actions is the owner of the property.
That brings up another question. Can we require proof of insurance since these are such fragile buildings, and if something happens, how do we know?
Unlike the structural engineering process, which we have within our code, we don't have a provision for demonstrating insurance. we may be able to ask the applicant and get voluntary compliance to that event.
Yeah, because the architect should be insured, the property owner, the contractor. So that's probably another loophole that we need to close up. At least ask them to voluntarily show that they've got insurance before they proceed.
And we can ask for voluntary compliance on that. I have a hard time believing they don't have insurance, but
Yeah, I was going to say it's very much in our interest to have insurance for this project, so I don't think that'll be a problem.
Yeah, but we need to see it in writing, as you understand.
Sure.
And before we make a motion, I just would like to tell the property owner that...
Madam Mayor, we have a few requests to speak.
Oh, we do? Okay. Alrighty, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, I think we might be far from water service application, but there was a question about a demolition agreement. And since it's up, I wanted to go, would that demolition agreement be able to include any impact on the other businesses on Whiskey Row? I don't know. I don't even need an answer now, but I'd like to know that if there was a demolition agreement, because there was concerns around the economic impact of construction on Whiskey Row, and that would seem to potentially be part of a demolition agreement. That's probably a city attorney question.
And I think we are getting off topic, but what I'll say is there's not a demolition agreement. There is demolition requirements and permitting. And as there's no demolition agreement, there is no obligation to the city to provide for neighboring properties, but that just happens as a function of law.
Thank you.
Are we ready for public comment? Or
I still have a button push.
We don't have any public comment, Mayor, that I've received as of yet, but there are, looks like Councilman Ruby just removed his, and Councilman Gambogi is on the...
Okay, last but not least. Okay.
This council is trying to undo the vote of the past council that approved this. We're here to talk about water, but we've talked about everything else except water. This is going to be a freestanding hotel. The current structure that's there now is merely a roof with a beam, and that beam is supported by the two adjacent buildings. So when that beam comes down, those two adjacent buildings become stronger, not weaker. You're going down rabbit holes just because you don't want to approve the hotel. We're here to approve the water service application and nothing else.
I'd like to make a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve WSA
excuse me, I'm making a motion.
25-037.
Mr.
The chair is not supposed to be making motions.
I am allowed to make a motion. You're out of order. I move to approve water service application 25-037.
Second.
With, excuse me, wait. With the stipulation that a structural engineer does a feasibility study prior to demolition and to be on site during construction. Do I hear a second?
Second again.
Please vote.
Passes 6-0-1. Adoption of resolution number 2026-1980 declaring city-owned property adjacent to the Prescott Regional Airport, Ernest A. Love Field, be included as airport lands.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. Rick Kreider, it's my privilege to serve as your airport director and last on your agenda today. So we have a little graphic up on the screen. I think this will be fairly brief. This is kind of a recap of a series of actions council has taken over the last few years Prior to my arrival, council directed city manager and staff to go and purchase the 75.38 acres, the flag shape you see up on the screen. That's along Highway 89, for the interest of protecting the crosswind runway 1230. So I think that's been widely discussed in the past. The process that we went through, we identified eligibility for funding. You may recall we received $3.1 million from the state of Arizona through the ADOT aviation program. Later, a $3 million grant from the federal government, the FAA, through a congressionally directed spending and Senator Kelly's office. And most recently, $78,948 is matched to that grant. So this is a bit of a wrapping up, if you will, putting a bow on this. The council has taken those 3 grants, approved their acceptance. We've received the funds. We've closed out all but the last of the grants. The last step is to amend our airport layout plan, our ALP, and that land map that shows what our airport lands. So this is much about reporting, the report card, where we're at on the process. The next slide, if you'll help me, Sarah, or maybe IT, shows kind of the scorecard of what was paid.
You have the clicker. Excuse me.
I've got the clicker. Thank you.
Excuse me, Lois has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Rick, I just wanted to add to your good news of all the grants that we got.
Okay.
We also just approved the settlement agreement for another $750,000. So compared to this sheet that says, our city remaining share or costs, we just lowered it again by $750,000.
You're way ahead of me.
So good.
Way ahead of me. I was going to point that out, and you're exactly right. If you take those 3 grants and you subtract from the purchase price, and again, there was a difference in purchase price and appraised value that had to do with soft costs that the developer had incurred in planning for entitled property. But the worst case scenario is 76.5% recovered. And to your point, Mayor Pro Tem, if you also account for that $750,000 that was somewhat attributed and connected to this land purchase, I'm not telling council that, it's kind of a dotted line, maybe more than a solid line. But if you account for that, you're at 85.7% recovered. So yes, thank you for moving to.
I actually see it as not dotted line at all. It's solid line. If we didn't have that issue, we wouldn't have been spending $8 million on land purchase. So I'm very happy where we've got it down to 1.15.
Yes, ma'am. So again, kind of the process. We moved through the acquisition, the grant applications, and reimbursement. This is really to designate the land and to formally move it. It's already titled City of Prescott land, so it's really a matter of obligating this parcel for the grant assurances, the federal grant assurances, which is, of course, the expectation of both the state and the FAA. And then transfer it into control of the airport and we manage it. I would point out, too, that I think there was perhaps a misconception early on that the land must remain vacant. That's not true. We'll put that into the business mix of the airport and look at ways that we can have symbiotic development, compatible land development, and further exploit the opportunities that land represents.
More economic development, possibly. Rick, I have a question about your inventory map, if we could put that up.
So I can go back. Sarah's giving me control, so.
I was talking about this map.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I don't think we've got it on the screen. We just have those 2 slides. That's the airport development plan.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the ALP, the airport layout plan, excuse me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I was, looking at the ALP. The reason why we purchased this land was to protect the northern approach of the crosswind runway.
Yes, ma'am.
And we just mentioned we settled a lawsuit because the table was correct, but the map was wrong. And I don't want to take any chances here because I don't know if this map is correct there on the north end. I was just looking at it. If it doesn't really show, I don't know what it should be showing. I just
ALP.
would, on this one.
Yes, ma'am. So I think the germane part of that is that we showed that kind of flag-shaped parcel as future acquisition. That's the point of the ALP. So we'll, as we move it into airport lands, we'll change our ALP update. We'll do an update to the ALP, and we'll show those as airport lands, so they're thereby obligated. It'll be part of the Exhibit A that has those parcels.
I was going to say, mentioning Exhibit A, should we have more than the APNs? Should we have a legal description of the property and also a survey included? Just because I know we're dealing with the FAA here, and part of our packet had about 20 pounds of a contract with the FAA.
Well, that was actually the compliance.
Compliances.
Yes,
so I'm wondering, would it be overkill, or do you think it wouldn't hurt if we included the survey?
Absolutely.
And
so I
legal?
think what we included in the package was the ALD, airport layout drawing, that showed that parcel as a future purchase. So now we're talking about moving it into airport lands.
Right.
Another page, though, to that ALP set is the land, or Exhibit A, as you just mentioned. And it has parcel by parcels with the legal description. So that is precisely what's obligated and precisely what makes up the airport lands. So that will absolutely be done.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Any other comments?
Mayor?
Yes, Jim.
Move approval of adoption of Resolution 2026-1980.
Second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Okay, if there's no more comments, this meeting is adjourned.